I'm back on my reflex ball. Get my coordination with my hands, my eyes, and my feet. You know what I'm saying? The best place to train is in the snow. Yeah. So, I'm not here to change your mind. I would never do that. It's not what they say. It's what they're not saying. And you got to read between the lines. That's all I can say in this video. It's been a while since I ain't do a video. But something get my attention. And, you know, as you know, in some of my videos, I like to do hypocrisy and shit like that. But I will let you know that I do lie and I do cap. I'm honest about my shit. I do cap. And regardless if I think I'm not capping, you're going to think I'm capping. So that's why I say I am capping. It is what it is. You might not like what I say, but it is what it is. So let's go on with the hypocrisy. I see a lot of people talking about Boots. Yeah, Boots and Crawford, Boots and Arrow. And everybody's saying one side of the equation, you know, because they have the most subs, you know, on that channel. And people like to hear what they want to hear. So for the casuals, because, you know, we got the hardcore boxing fans. So I like to do this for the casuals. It's just coming in and trying to step into boxing and trying to figure out who's to blame. Is it Arrow? Is it Crawford? Is PBC? You know, so what I do is I make the videos and I make sure I put details and I put receipts in. And then you come up with your conclusion and how this is going on and who should be fighting Boots and who's next in line. So let's move on and let's show some hypocrisy. Let's finish off with Fanon and his bullshit. Yeah, come on, let's move on. Let's chop it up with this Fanon shit. Let me show you what he say here and then what he says there, because I do it the best. Yes, come on.
The Daywalker. Boots petitioned several times to fight Arrow, though. We all know Bud always fights his mandatories, though. If Boots really want... Now, screw that. Stop that. Why are you always trying to make somebody Terrence Crawford's mandatory? Why somebody always got to beg for a fight from somebody, man? He ain't got to be the mandatory. That man got a voluntary. If David Avenation can be a voluntary, why can't that man be a voluntary? We'll be putting Terrence Crawford in this position. He will either have to do a unification fight, and the only unification fight that he has is the one with Errol Spence Jr., or he will have to defend his mandatory. The mandatory will be Jaron Ennis. Now, why do I say that? I've said this before, but why would Jaron Ennis be the mandatory? He's currently the #2 rated fighter in the WBO. The #1 rated fighter in the WBO is a fighter out of Dallas, Texas that goes by the name of Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz petitioned the WBA for a fight for the WBA title, regular title, against Ennis Stanionis. The WBA obliged him and ordered the fight. Now, if that fight happens, which I think that it would, Stanionis says that he wants to fight, Virgil Ortiz is the one that petitioned for.
All right, so you have to decide where Fanon is. When he say this, was he on his meds? Or when he said that, he was off his meds? You do the comparison. All right, I'm not here to change your mind. You read between the lines, right? So let's move on. But I will give you at the end my opinion what Crawford should do, and what I feel should happen between Crawford and Boots. But let's move on. And like I said, I'm gonna do some collabos of this person saying this and that person saying that, and I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna let you listen to them. And casuals, if you want to know what's going on with this Crawford and Errol Spence fight, you could decide which one you want, because no matter what, whatever side you on, your feelings is going to be based on facts. I mean, facts of your feelings, not reasoning and facts, but facts of your feelings, if you get what I'm saying. So let's move on of some of the hypocrisy, and I might butt in a little bit, but if not, I just let the shit flow, and then at the end, I'll show you how I would rock if I was Crawford at the end of the day. All right, let's go.
Or it's never still there. What do you think about the manner he knocked it out? Damn, he gonna never walk this fast. Anything can happen, man. Yeah, if the fight doesn't happen, blame Williams on Errol. What's up? What is fans? Hey.
Is it both of y'all? Is it just Terrence? Is it both of you guys, or do you feel like it's just Terrence?
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna worry about it too much.
You know, about legacy. If the Terrence thing can't happen because whatever, and then, you know, you and Mel are like brothers, you're not going to fight for Undisputed 54. What's the next, you know, step to just make you a greater fighter? What do you think's the next legacy fight then for you, Errol?
I don't know. I never say I ain't fighting nobody. I fight whoever.
Yeah, how likely, Errol, is it if you can't get any more challenges at 47 that this next year we see you go ahead and move up to 154? Right over here. How likely is it that you move up to 154 in the next year?
I don't know. You gotta see. I mean, get older, man.
And with Crawford, was it a case of, I mean, he could have gave up $100 million, but you weren't going to take that no matter what, because, you know, the loyalty you have to the people that brought you up, kind of thing. And he's not mentioning who it's coming from, but is that the case? Like, he could come up with any amount of money, but you're not going to take that deal because, you know, first of all, you don't know where it's coming from, but also because of loyalty to your people.
Yeah, man, I like this. We're gonna end it. We began it together. We're gonna end it together.
And real quick, what's your thoughts on Boots' you know, income, you know, probably gonna be a mandatory in the future?
He can fight.
He can fight.
He can go.
Is he honestly too high risk, too low reward right now?
Shit, I don't know what the reward is. Nobody gave me no. Nobody gave me.
Are you still gonna spend? You still gonna spend a block? Are you still gonna spend a block, baby?
The reward's right. He could get it then.
You still gonna spend a block?
Right. I like that. So,
Trip serious.
Thanks, fellas.
So those little clips of the interview, right? Because he was there for the Frank Martin thing, whatever, man. And it's so funny, yo. Every question from Keith Thurman to moving up in weight, to everything is, we don't know. We're gonna see. I don't know. We'll see. Right? Everything is, we don't know. We're going to see. And he was in a rush. The man was like, damn, you're walking mad fast, dude. Look at this is as fast as you ever walked. Right? And then when it came to Al Hammond, he did the same thing that Mayweather did. Me and Al Hammond is like this. But if you and Al Hammond is like this, why the fuck you don't know nothing about? We don't know. We got to see. Every question. You don't know nothing. But y'all two are like this, right? And then when it came to Boots, it was like, well, we got to see what the reward is, if the price is right. All right. Now, I'm not just going to get on Errol Spence, because this is what I'm trying to say. People say this, people say that, right? Same thing with Crawford. He say this. It's like you saying, man, I don't care about that fight. You know you want the fight, but, you know, some people, like, they do the opposite. They'll say something different, knowing that they'll get what they want, but they're not going to get what they want, but they want it. You know what I'm saying? So people have different strategies of doing shit. You know what I'm saying? So just like when you tell a kid, don't do this, he going to do it anyway, right? Or he say he ain't going to do it, and he'll end up doing it, right? Or you give good advice and they do the opposite shit. It's the same thing with actions and words. And that's why I said when it comes to these words from Errol Spence, there's no consistency, and the same thing with Crawford. There's no consistency. So what are we gonna do when you have words flowing and we could go back and forth with words? Yo, it's getting dark. I gotta do the rest in the garage or something. So what do we do when everybody's words we could use to manipulate for our channel and get subs and likes and dislikes, and we could just feed off these words, right? To spark an emotion, the emotion that you want. Yeah. So what are we gonna do, nigga? Nah. What are we gonna do when? Because at the end of the day, everybody have words, and everybody been saying too much and not consistent with their words, right? So we go by action. So let me give you an example. Just bear with me. When one person say this person say that, they're the same thing, and we can't tell who's telling the lie. Sometimes it's not the words, it's the action. Let me give you an example from King Solomon. Let me give you an example, because people think it's just words, wordplay. That you will say, well, you said that means you meant that. right? No, don't work this way. And you got to step it up a level. So Crawford saying this, Errol Spence saying that. I'm not saying this one say this, that. Now, I'm going to go a little bit further with this shit. Come on, let me give you an example, and then we're going to get back to this Boots situation. All right.
King, this woman, Leah, and I dwell within the same house. I was delivered of a child. On the third day after I was delivered, she was delivered also. There was no one in the house but we two. In the night, this woman's child died because she lay upon it. Wherefore, she removed my son from beside me while I slept and laid her dead child against my bosom.
She lies.
I do not lie. And when I rose in the morning to nurse my child, he was dead.
Not so, Lord Solomon.
The truth, Lord King. For when I looked at the child in my arms, I knew it was not the son that I did bear.
It was her own child and none other.
The living child is mine. The dead is yours.
The dead is yours, the living mine.
Bring the infant forward. Josiah, place the child on the steps before me and show him to me. Draw your sword, Josiah. Divide the child into two parts. Give half to the one woman, half to the other.
Oh, no! If it must be, give the child to her, that it may not be slain.
Divide it. It shall be neither hers nor mine.
Take your son, mother. He is surely yours.
May the Lord God Jehovah praise and bless you.
Would rather have surrendered him to another than to see him harmed. And take this woman hence and administer to her punishment to fit her perjury.
She lies. She lies. It's not right. The child is mine. Mine.
Now at last I have seen a judgment of Solomon, and your wisdom amazes me.
Whatever wisdom has been given me was for the benefit of my people.
Continue to teach me, I beg of you, so that I may gain a greater insight into the wonder of your understanding. It will enable me to become a better and wiser ruler over my own people.
Real wisdom lies in the ability to decide between the true and the false.
So you know that saying when they say a promise is a comfort to a fool, right? So at the end of the day, you have time and you have action. And that's all you have. Because we could say a lot and not do a lot. So at the end of the day, when it comes to this Crawford versus Boots and Boots versus Errol, I'm looking at what Boots' team is doing in order to put something in action rather than what people are saying that Boots said. So let's go by the example of what Boots said, right? And then we'll move on from there. Come on, let's run it.
I don't be focusing on nothing else but myself, bettering myself and studying, old school fighters and things like that. So I don't know. I mean, congrats on him to his window.
What'd you think of, and I already know you had some quotes for boxing scene, but again, what'd you think though when he's like, Boots' name didn't come up? You seem to respond to that quickly.
Yeah, that don't make sense how my name didn't come up at all when I'm ranked higher than the guy that he fought. So it didn't make any sense. If I say, everybody knew that I wanted to fight with him, Spence, whoever else I had to keep them, who guys, all these top guys, Ennis, all these guys, I want Fred Ortiz, I want to fight all these guys, and they know that. And I feel like they try to go around me. And I mean, they can't do that for too long, though.
Any part of you, like, man, you older guys are Bogart. Either fight each other or fight me or, you know,
That's
you feel like that at all?
That's how I feel. Like either y'all fight each other, fight me. It's like they gotta do something. Like it just, I feel like they hold it up a little bit. But either way, you know, I feel like I'll fight one of those guys soon. You know, whether it's at 47 or 54.
You know, it's really kind of a naive question because of the business of the sport. But is any part of you, if Terrence can't make a fight with you know, Errol or Charlo and Showtime, and you signed to Showtime, they've been supporting you. But is any part of you like, man, just let me go over to whatever platform he wants to fight at, and I'll bring that WBO belt back, and Errol can still fight for Undisputed against a switch hit and knockout artist.
Definitely, I definitely, you know, I'm just that hungry, and I'm, you know, when you're that hungry, you willing to go anywhere. I go in his living room and fight him, so it don't really matter to me. I just want, you know.
This is the big deal that these channels are making a big deal out of, right? That supports Errol. He'll fight him in his living room, in the bathroom, in the dining room, whatever. But if you hear what the man said, he named Standonius, he named Errol, Crawford. He said, I'll fight anybody. I'm hungry. I'll fight anybody. So that's the position he's playing. He's playing it well because no one wants to fight this man. If they do, they want a high price. So I'm not even thinking about that right now. But these dudes making a big deal out of it. But let's go by the actions, okay? Because, you know, like I said, these channels, such as myself, I cap, I lie, we try to feed off your emotions and try to persuade you to like what we're saying, and it's done already because you like Errol and you want the narrative to be what you want. So let me fall back. I'll tell you at the end what I think should go on, and I'm just gonna put clips, and then after that I'll give you my conclusion of what I think Crawford should do. It's an opinion. It's not a fact. When it comes to Errol and Crawford. All right, between Errol and Boots. Sorry about that. Yeah, all right.
Hey, team management, hey, what y'all tell them? What y'all tell them? Hey, y'all going fishing?
Yo, he know at these fight boys, he going to 154. Because he don't want to see that young lion again. He don't want to see that young lion.
This just crossed my mind. You petitioned the IBF on multiple occasions for them for them to order a mandatory fight between your son Jaron and Earl Smith Jr. Yes. Now the IBF just ordered Alexander Usyk to fight Filip Hrgovic. Right. The IBF hasn't ordered Spence mandatory for 4 years. Yeah. Like,
hey, listen, man. I mean, it's not what you know, it's who you know in the game today, man. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with that, but we are sending another one in. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know what's going on with that. You know what I mean? Them organizations, I think they do what they want to do. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know if they're getting paid or what. I mean, I don't know what it's all about, man. Because you see a lot of guys shouldn't be where they at right now. Look at Thurman. How they moved Thurman all the way up. Thurman wasn't even fighting. They moved him up all the way up. First, they moved him up in Boots spot. Boots was number 3. Then pushed Boots back to number 4. And now you look at him, he's number 1 at the WBC. Yeah. He's number 1 at WBC now. You know what I mean? But Boots is number 2 in all the other divisions and number 3 in one of them. But he got back his position back, but that's crazy, man.
Now the WBA has come out and said Stanios is Spence's mandatory. Yeah. The WBC said no, it's Thurman. Yeah. But the last mandatory that Spence had was Andy Garcia, which was the WBC.
Exactly.
So like, how are they just snubbing over the IBF?
The last one. The last one was what you call the Russian guy. And he never.
Abdul
Khan. Yeah. And he never defended with him either.
As a matter of fact,
that was the last one.
And then he loses to Cody Crowley.
So Cody Crowley should have been in a position right there once he beat him. The boy was number 1. And look what they did with Cody Crowley. But he number 6, number 14 somewhere else. And he should have been right in the position, man. You know what I mean?
It just seems like they're playing hopscotch.
Hey, they're playing games, man. You know what I mean? So all we got to do is go with the flow now. We got to keep on knocking these boys out. And until they're going to have to give it to us.
How do you stay cool in a situation like that? Because
only reason why I stay so cool is Boots only young buck. Boots only 25 years old, man. You know, we got time.
So the team of Boots Ennis, which his team is Boozy, his father, say he put a petition out once, put twice. Right? And he explained everything about mandatory and what Errol didn't fulfill within years and years. But as we know, there was some unifications within those years. So we look into the gray part of things. It's not just a black and white. We're not forgetting over here because we got reasoning, right? For certain things. But he has a mandatory fulfill. And like I said in most of my channels, when it comes to promoters and sanction bodies, there's a script, right? And when you see IBF is very strict, a certain way of doing things, and then all of a sudden they don't do it, and then you see the WBA saying they had a written promise or a term or a draft or a contract to say that Stanionis is next because Ugas step aside. I mean, Stanio step aside so Ugas could fight Errol, and their wishes need to be fulfilled, but all of a sudden, WBC comes up, Keith Thurman all of a sudden ranked at a certain spot to be number one. We all can see that we don't want to blame the sanction bodies, the promoters, the networks, or whatever. We want to put our finger on another man. It's very easy. So let's go on the narrative that these channels are talking about. Yo, he's going to fight him in his living room. He'll fight him in the living room. And all these videos is about Boots fighting Crawford in his living room. Let's run some shit here for some education purposes only, because this is what we do. And what I do when I say entertainment, I cap, I lie, everything, all the above. You gotta read in between the lines if you don't like me. That's what it is, man. And that's how it's gonna be. All right, so let's move on.
Let me explain. Jaron Boots Ennis did an interview a couple of days ago where he said he wants Terrence Crawford specifically. That's what he said. He said, I want to fight with Terrence Crawford is the fight I want. What he said is, and in that same interview, is that because they asked him, they said, hey, do you think it was strange when Terrence Crawford said that no one called, he didn't get the call to fight you? Jaron Boots Ennis called this nigga a liar. He called this man a fucking liar. He said this man's a liar. He said that don't make sense. He didn't call him a liar in just saying he's a liar, but he blatantly called him a liar. He said that don't make no sense. Let me explain.
Now, when you look at that, he said a couple of things about specifically. Listen, this dude, he's an example, okay? He's a bitch-ass nigga, but he's an example, and he's playing his part well. He's playing his part well. But he's talking about Crawford should fight. He didn't call him out because he's number 2 on the ranking and blah, blah, blah. But casuals, not hardcores, they know this. Casuals, there's been trying to make a negotiation between Errol and Crawford. And within this Errol and Crawford fight, right, it's a network that's got to be, this fight got to be on, and that's Showtime. Now, Showtime has Boots Ennis. They own Boots Ennis, right? They together, not own, but they together, right? Just like Errol Spence has an advisor with the PBC. So this PBC has a network, right? Showtime, where they premiere all their boxing, all their fighters on Showtime. So you telling me if Errol and Crawford can't come to a conclusion or negotiation, and it's so funny that on the side of the PBC, like I said, PBC, Tim Smith said, we don't want to embarrass Crawford in negotiations because Espinoza said, that fight ain't happening. Money issues. This is what Espinoza said. Mayweather said that fight will happen in the future. But it's so funny. And also Errol Spence said that. If you look at some of my videos, I think my last video, he did say it's going to happen next year, right? So everybody's saying everything. Everybody's saying everything, right? Standonia's saying that he's next. They had a contract. They had a term sheet. They had a draft. They had a promise. They had a promise, right? Everybody had promises that's getting not fulfilled and broken and shit's getting changed and rearranged, right? All words. But you want Crawford to say, okay, Errol Spence, step to the side. I'm going to fight Boots because our negotiate ain't working and y'all don't have the money. PBC, their budget needs to be re-upped next year with Showtime. So we don't have a budget, But I need to make this fight with Boots Ennis. And Showtime and PBC can't get with the program with Crawford. That's one. So at the same time, I'm like, come on, man. This shit ain't making no sense. Right? Hold on. I gotta chit. So I just had to laugh at that because they try to do negotiations with Crawford to fight Boots. I'm just saying, this is what they're saying. And it's so funny where you're going to skip over Errol Spence. You just for the voluntary, that's David Avenesia, and you made your money or whatever, right? And even if it wasn't 10 million, it was 8, 9, or even 7, he made more than he made 6 million with the ESPN. He made more, okay? He made 6 million, and then he made another 7 million, or 8 million, or 9 million, and if it's true, it's 10 million. That's all it is. Where the PBC and Showtime won't give him a guarantee, and won't give Errol a guarantee. So all this thing about who's ranked in number 1, hey, Virgil Ortiz didn't want to fight with Crawford. It's a young dude. He didn't want it, right? So at the end of the day, it's just words. It's wordplay, word manipulation. So let me give you another dude that's talking that ish. Here we go.
They asked him about being passed over by Terrence Crawford to fight David Avenesia. Because he's ranked number 2 in the WBO. David Avenesia is ranked number 6. The guy told him, hey man, they said your name didn't even come up to fight Terrence Crawford. And he said this. He said, it don't make sense that my name didn't come up at all when I'm ranked higher than the guy that he fought. Everybody knows I want to fight with him and Spence and whoever else. Thurman, Stanionis, Virgil Ortiz. I want all these guys. They know that. I feel like they try and go around me. They can't do that for too long though. Either fight each other or fight me. He said they got to do something. I feel like they're holding up a bit. Either way, I feel like I'll fight one of those guys soon. Whether it's at 147 or 154. I'll go in his living room to fight him. Because the dude asked him about Terrence Crawford again. He said, I'll go in his living room to fight him. I just want to show my skills and my talent and show the world that I'm really that guy. I'm the best in that weight class. Me going to Crawford's platform in his hometown and taking that belt from him and doing it in a beautiful fashion, that's what I'm going to do. Me being victorious and doing that, that's going to be a big mark in my boxing legacy. Then they started.
Okay, so Crawford just beat David Avenesia, right? Next year he should fight Boots Ennis, right? Let's say, because this is negotiation time now. All right, we back to negotiation time. And the new year didn't start. I'm not hearing anything about negotiations with the PBC and Bud Crawford, a free agent. I'm not hearing anything. But if you saying that you didn't give this man a guarantee to fight Errol, well, why would I even do business with you to fight any of your fighters? Even if Boots is with Showtime. Because Showtime gives the budget to PBC. I just don't understand this. And risk, now don't get me wrong. I don't care about the risk. But risk being undisputed, because y'all Errol Spence like to say that, strap season. Well, I say it's strap season for Errol, because Errol keeps blasting strap season. But y'all keep saying, well, he wants undisputed 2, Crawford. He want to be 2-time. And if he don't come 2-time, well, listen, this is how it goes to me too, right? But I'll get into it in a little while of what I think Crawford should do at the end of his career. But what's so funny is that Crawford, what I was about to say, God damn it. I remember what I was about to say, because that 2-time undisputed thing, it's like, this is the problem that I got. Now, Crawford has the WBO. He could go up and down. And he keeps saying this. Listen, I want to fight Charlo. And these PBC lovers keep saying, how the hell you going to fight Charlo? How the hell you going to fight Charlo if you ain't fight Spence? How the fuck you going to fight Boots if you ain't fight Spence? But he has a chip. He got the chip. He can say, here, this is the WBO. I could move up, I could move down. And I want to fight Charlo. If Charlo's successful with Tim Tszyu and he beats him in January, I'm next in line. But y'all keep saying, what y'all saying? Nah, the PBC ain't gonna have that. Oh, so they writing scripts and they blocking the rules. Like I said, when you have money allegedly going under the table, you could stop shit. hey, there's mandatories, right? The WBC mandatorized so-and-so to fight so-and-so. Shakur, what's this guy name? Pitbull Isaac Cruz. Did it happen? No, it didn't happen. So even though it's a mandatory of this and that, if the person don't want to do it, they ain't going to do it. But this man has a chip. He has the WBO belt. He can say, this is the rules of the sanction body of the WBO. I'm doing this. Now, if Charlo decides he don't want to do that after he beats Tim Tszyu, if he beats Tim Tszyu, well, who looks like a duck? It's the action. It's not the words. Because now he put his petition in to fight. Just like Boozy Ennis put the petition in so his son could fight Errol Spence. So you see how we work. It's more about action instead of just flapping your lips like long twats. Yeah. One long lip longer than the other. Long twat. So flapping in the wind. Flapping in the wind. Just talking. But the action is, if that man said he wants Charlo, fine. You can say all you want Charlo. But after, if you can't get Errol, right, with the PBC, hey, you show them proof that you're willing to still do business with the PBC, but you want another chance to be undisputed by fighting who's up there, like you fought Jeff Horn, right? Just like you fought, you went up 147 from 140, 147 with the WBO, and they allowed that to happen. So Crawford's in a very good position here. And it's so funny. These Errol Spence fans, I remember when he became a free agent, they said, what's going to happen? Where's Crawford going? Crawford got nowhere to go. He ain't got no representation. And guess what? You was wrong. You was wrong, man. He found Black Prime. He got paid twice for the year. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 back end money. He got $6 million. Remember that, Bob Arum? This is what he said. This is what he said before he gave him $6 million. I lost money. Well, I don't care if you lost money, Bob. Crawford got $3 million a fight. And then after that, even when you lost money, you had to give this man $6 million. And after that, you still had to give Sean Porter $4 million. That's ESPN. That's where your budget's coming from. Ain't it, Bob? So whatever happened in that budget and you didn't get the best out that budget, it is what it is, man. So let's move on because I want to get back to this best fight the best, man. I'm giving some heat for a minute. But it was this guy on his channel. Yeah, some guy asked him a couple questions and he started to get hot. And it was just about, I think it was 2 or 3 questions. By the time you get to the 3rd question, this nigga starts steaming. Come on, man.
Where the Spence versus Thurman fight? Al Heyman said Spence up to fight Keith or move up. That's what Vibe says. Wrong. Al Heyman did not set Spence up to do nothing, but be successful. Errol Spence could have picked to fight Keith Thurman next. Errol Spence could have picked to fight Keith Thurman in fucking July, if he wanted to. Which is why BFTB said, if Errol Spence stays at 147 and don't fight Keith Thurman, it's a fucking duck. Yeah, that's what I said, and I stand on that. I don't give a fuck if Keith Thurman ducked this man. Yeah, he did. He ducked the shit out of that man. Ducked the fuck out of him for years. So, but I'm not a liar. Not a liar. So Vibe says he got no choice if he got to spin the block. He does have a choice. Yes, he does. Yes, he does have a choice. He does have a choice. Keith Thurman will be called as a mandatory. When Keith Thurman is called as a mandatory, he will have X amount of time, X amount, to make that fight. If he doesn't do it in X amount of time, it will go to a purse bid. But in that X amount of time, all he's going to do is reach out to the WBC Mauricio Suleiman and let them know that they are in negotiations with Budrick. That mandatory will get postponed. What will end up happening is Keith Thurman will fight who's ever behind him as the WBC interim champion. That's what will happen. The WBC interim champion. And he'll fight Errol Spence between the chickens and the ducks on his farm in DeSoto. He said that y'all niggas were scared where the Errol Spence was at. Y'all scared. But this man said, I will go to Omaha. I'll go to Omaha. I will beat this nigga in his mother's living room. They said nothing. He said nothing. Okay. So Vibe says, too much. You're saying too much to me, homie. You're saying too much to me. I ain't got no beef with you. Don't block Vibes. I got no beef. But Vibes, we have got no beef with you, King. You ain't saying nothing crazy to me. I don't know you, homie. I don't got no beef with you. I got no beef. BF got no beef. But you're saying a lot to me. So, homie Vibes, click the link. BF will answer the question. You're a liar. Vibe says 3 is the limit. Okay, next time I'll make it 2. Okay, well, then I guess you're gonna be waiting for next time then. Then I guess you're gonna be waiting until next time. Guess you're waiting until next time. Now you can sit in silence, you can leave. It don't matter to me, because you're not gonna say nothing to me today. Your day to talk to me is finished. Guess you come back tomorrow and try again. Don't block Vibes. Don't block Vibes. BF ain't got no beef with Vibes. But you've reached your limit. And all that tells me is that you guys are pussy. That's all it tells me. You guys are pussy, bro. Real shit, y'all are pussy. And I mean that with all respect.
So this dude Vibes got under his skin with 3 questions. And he said, you're asking too much, dude. You know, hit the link. Hit the link. 3 questions this guy asks. This man called Vibes. Right? Asked him 3 questions, and that was just too many questions to ask. Hit the link, because he wants to know who he's talking to. Because, see, it doesn't sound like a sheep. Bah. This man know what he's talking about. First, he said, Al Haymon set him up to fight Keith Thurman when Errol Spence didn't want to fight Keith Thurman. His back is against the wall. He ain't got no options. Then he said, wait a minute. Don't he got to spin the block? Didn't Errol say he's going to spin the block? How are you going to spin the block? He have to fight Keith, right? To spin the block, or he got to move up. Because that's his mandatory. Right? So it's either you moving up, or you got to fight Keith, or you got to beg Crawford and tell the PBC and the network to make negotiations properly. So that fight won't happen with Keith. Then unification, undisputed, can happen. Right? So who got the leverage? Right? Then he said, man, that's 3 questions. Like, hit the link, hit the link. You pussy, you don't want to come on. So the guy Vibe said, well, if 3 questions is the limit, I'll bring it down to 2 next time. That means he'll come back and ask that question again. All right? That's what it is. The man don't have to show his face. Hey, for all you know, he was probably a new casual, right? And he was trying to figure out, he likes Errol. He's trying to get questions from the channels of Errol. But the way you presented yourself, it's like, oh, you challenging me. Well, no, the man was just asking questions. That's all he was asking. But you probably ran that guy away, and now he's a Crawford fan. Because he see how you in your emotions and your feelings. And nigga, where you with? 2 tampons, nigga? Yeah, so that is so funny to me. Now, let me get to my opinion. Let me get to my opinion on Crawford and Boots Ennis. Hello, Black and Mild. All right, I'm going to pop on this one. I smoke once in a while, not all the time. But on this one here, this is my opinion when it comes down to Crawford and Boots Ennis. Now, if that fight does not happen with Errol Spence, there's no undisputed for Crawford. If he goes, takes his chip, the WBO chip, and say, listen, I'm giving you my chip here. I want to fight Charlo. And the PBC and Charlo say no. We're not letting that happen. And the sanction body is not letting that happen for whatever reason. I mean, it happened with Jeff Horn, right? But it can't happen with Charlo, right? That's 2. Now, well, Crawford, he could go somewhere else. He could fight Josh Taylor. He gonna have options. He have options that you don't know he might have in the future. And we know that by the action that happened in the past with Black Prime and what you were saying, that he has no representation. He has nowhere to go. Y'all was wrong. He found a ways to go. A free agent. So now, he can't get the fight with Errol Spence. He can't get the fight with Charlo, right? he can either go to waste a little bit more time or take another fight if he feels like it's not time to retire and fight Josh Taylor. And let you and the PBC and Al Heyman and Espinoza of Showtime with your networks and all this bullshit could go on. Or even Errol could fight Charlo. Whatever it is. He has a chance. Errol has a chance to be undisputed. And I think Errol should take that chance if this fight can't happen. It is what it is. They both on the same in-house. They both agree on the terms of the PBC. No guarantee on $1 million or $2 million or $1.5 million guarantee in the back end. That fight should be easy. Yeah. But if Charlo don't want it, and Charlo ain't talking that shit like he wanted, well then, hey, move to the side, Errol, and let Crawford go for it. That's that. So at the end of my thing, I'm trying to say this to Crawford. If you feel like you're done with boxing, now, if you feel like you're done with boxing, you're going to be 36 next year, late next year, you're going to be 36, and you're like, all right, I'm done with this shit. Maybe I fought Josh Taylor, I had a fight in, and I'm done. If I was you, this is my opinion, because I would make these PBCs look like a fool, and at the same time win. You're going to win fighting Boots. Listen to what I'm saying. You're going to win fighting Boots because if you win, you fought him, not Errol. That was Errol's mandatory. You beat Boots. Now, if you lose, hey, man, you just passed the torch. And guess what? You retire. Errol still got to see that man at 154. Let's see the action of Errol Spence at 154 if he's going to still fight Boots Ennis. And the saga will continue because it's different faces, same bullshit. Different faces, same bullshit. So that will show so much proof on your side, Crawford. That's why I said there's no risk. To me, it's no risk for Crawford. You want to fight Boots? You could win? Fine. If you lose? Fine. No one can say that you're a ducker because you fought that man. And you passed the torch to that young 25-year-old. And when it comes to excuses, well, the excuses always be there. On the Crawford side, fans, they'll say, well, man, you know, Boots was 25. Man, we got to hand it to that 36-year-old Crawford. He did his thing, man. Maybe if he was younger, he would have had a better fight, and it could have been back and forth, right? Depending on how the fight go between y'all two. Right? So you have excuses and you have opinions about how the fight went and if it goes 12 rounds or it is a knockout or he gets knocked out or you get knocked down or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're a lion, you're a tiger. Okay? You showed them that Errol didn't do it, you did it, and you retire. Because at the end of the day, you're going to do this at 37 and 38. So you have a couple of fights. And I think that if you can't get Charlo and you can't get Errol, and maybe you got to fight somewhere else, fine. They could keep saying you a hater or whatever, but watch the actions of Charlo and Errol Spence, because at the end of the day, if Errol Spence calls out Charlo and Charlo don't want it, it is what it is. It is what it is. Right? You could call Charlo a duck if it's Errol. That's between those two. They on the same in-house. Ain't no different side of the street. So what I'm saying, this is my opinion, if I was Crawford, I'd be like, all right, so let me see if I can get another fight with Black Prime or maybe Josh Taylor or maybe this one or something else comes up, blah, blah, blah. And we'll see what happens because negotiations ain't going on anymore. And I can't get a fight with Errol. And if I can't get a fight with Charlo, even though I did everything, I took the right steps to fight Charlo, and they telling me no, or Charlo don't want it, well, Charlo look like a duck. And if I'm decided to retire, and I want to go out like you see lions, they go out. You see old lions in nature, when they go out, they go out. But it's how you go out. It's how you go out. And I'd rather go out to a younger guy than someone that's 32, 33 trying to stall me out for me to be 36, 37, in that bracket, and you trying to get that sweet spot arrow of him losing his athleticism, right? Trying to lose his athleticism. So if you're going to let me lose all my athleticism, and I can't pronounce the word, right? Athleticism, right? and you playing these games, well, I might as well play this game with a 25-year-old and feed this man the belt and leave it with him so you could go through all the bullshit. And let's see if you're going to take the right measurements at the right steps. Because now that man is with Showtime, the one that gives you the budget, that gives your advisor the budget to make the fucking fights. So this is all I'm saying. That's my opinion. You can rock with it or you don't want to rock with it. But if I'm saying if you're going to go out this way. And I will go out that way. I'm not here to change your mind. I want you to just read between the lines. And not what they say is what they're not saying. And words are just words. At the end of the day, it's the action and the time that come together to see what you're going to get. That's the equation, the time and the action, not the words. I'm out.